In a world to where many people want answers right away, want a quick fix, where is the real lesson in any of that? Where has true and real growth gone? What if the only thing stopping us from getting to our next goal is truly just us? The world has convinced us that we need to outsource to find the answer, but what is the real lesson within that? To take somebody else's experience and make it our own. How much have we truly learned from that? Instead of going through the process on our own, through our own trial and error, learning by doing. The quick fix pill is so easy to grab onto, especially in this day and age. But where is the real reward in that? Truthfully, that is why I believe wholeheartedly that the greatest lessons that we learn are by doing. Chapter number 1, the beginning stages. If you were to look at that final goal that you have on a map, the first roadblock that's going to be in your way during this process is procrastination. One of the biggest ways we usually get stuck in procrastination is seeing the end goal and feeling so overwhelmed as to how we're going to get there. We literally stop. We delay until we feel like we're ready, until we feel like it's the right time. Wait until we feel inspired. Wait until we physically have something that might help us along the way get to that goal. This is the biggest roadblock that I've learned that will literally stunt your growth. The only way through the procrastination is doing the thing, something that gets you closer and closer to the goal by just moving the needle forward just a little bit at a time. When you show up every single day, every single week, all of that effort is compounded to where you learn the valuable skills, which will turn into that long-term momentum, and you keep learning for months or even years at a time, getting you closer and closer to that goal. Truthfully though, thinking will keep you in that same loop of procrastination. The only way out, truly, is through. Get yourself out of that loop by choosing something different. If we have gotten the same output by thinking, it might be time to choose a different input to get a different output. Chapter number 2, doing instead of sourcing. Now, this one might be a crazy one to talk about, but I'm going to talk about it. As someone who has literally spent thousands of dollars trying to outsource the answers to my problems from people who were already experienced in what I wanted to accomplish. I've got some shit to share, okay? Which, don't get me wrong, these people can be very valuable, especially when you're in the right hands and you know exactly what you want from this person that you want to learn from. But if this is the only thing, if this is the only person that you're depending on to get you to that goal, you might be setting yourself up for a little bit of failure. People or teachers that have been through exactly what we have been through, their information can be valuable and they can help us with their own information, own perspectives, own results from what they have been through. But what is information without implementation? If you're relying just on their knowledge and hoping that something works out for you just like how it did for them, base it only on their experience only, and follow exactly what they are doing as well, where is your voice in that mix? Where is your value of you learning throughout the process as well? Your own lessons, your own trials, and your own errors. Truly though, other people's experiences are always going to be from their own perspective. So who actually knows if it lines up to your values and to your intentions based on your goals and what you want to achieve? But if you truly want to find the answers and get to that goal, the best thing that you can do for yourself is to simply just do. Even when you take action and you find out exactly what you don't value throughout the process, that is still a lesson that is valuable. It's setting you up to actually search for the opposite, what you do value and what you actually do enjoy in the process of reaching that said goal. You've learned throughout the process, and there's no second guessing because it came from your own experience. You already know. You've been through it. Outsourcing can truly be valuable when you have the goal in mind, you have a strong sense of what you already enjoy, and you're willing to go through your own trial and error along the way and not rely on just one person's information. And you know what you want to specifically up level throughout your journey. What does it look like for you of this person giving you this information, but also going through your own trial and error throughout the process? You having that strong knowing that you will figure it out with their information or without their information. Either way, you're going to be fine. This is just added information to help. But in the meantime, if you're still trying to figure out exactly how to get to your goal, and there's so much fog to where you can't even see the full goal in of itself, your greatest teacher is going to be from you. Chapter 3, learning by doing. The most important one. Think of how many lessons you've learned throughout your life by doing. Maybe as a kid, you learn how to ride a bike. This is a random example, but it's one of the first things that came to my mind, okay? You learn how to ride a bike, right? And maybe after a while, you were like, actually, I don't like riding bikes. I'd rather try something else. Let me try riding a skateboard. Okay, noted. Now what? We're not touching that bike anymore, but I will skateboard though, it's fun. I like it. Same thing throughout life. You try and you try, you understand, and you take value from a situation if it's worth your energy or it's not. Learning by doing might be the harder way, especially in today's society, but it's way more rewarding than a quick fix or a quick outsource when the reward is literally through the process. Although it might take a little longer, when you value the lessons along the way, the process becomes so much more enjoyable and you'll literally learn lessons that you will remember throughout a lifetime. And actually, I believe helps you evolve as well as a human being. And you might be able to teach them someday. Who knows? Chapter number 4, the value of learning what you actually don't like. You might hear that and be like, why would I value at all what I do not like? What? You might surprise yourself, honestly, with this next insight I'm going to share with you. So, if you look at it as a map, like I mentioned earlier, to your end goal being that end destination on a map, the procrastination was that initial roadblock that was preventing you from getting started. Since then, you've gotten started and you're now going through that trial and error, the messy path to get you to the end goal, whatever it was. While you're going through this process, though, you will literally learn what you don't like before or while simultaneously figuring out what you do like or do value. It's like a loop of shedding what you don't value while keeping what you do value, like an upward spiral. So you really have a complete conceptualization of what you do and what you don't value. I'll give you a simple example of this. Let's say in life, you structure your days now instead of just flowing through the process. At the start, you used to flow through the process. You figured out that didn't work for you and you decided that you actually needed a change. But the change now being wanting to add structure. And how does that even look like for your life? So throughout this whole process of you getting from being in this flow state to having a more structured lifestyle, you learn what you value and the skills needed to actually get to that place. You learn by doing what you didn't like first, which was in this situation flowing through the process. But in the beginning, you might have not even known that you didn't like it until you realize it actually wasn't for you and you wanted something different. Finally figuring out what you do value and what you do want. You're finally seeing things clearly and there's less fog in front of you now to get you closer and closer to that goal. The next phase to get you even closer to that said goal is to keep choosing what you value over and over again for added momentum with reiteration and growth, adding new concepts, new ideas, maybe redirection to finally get to that goal that you had in mind in the first place. The greatest lessons are learned by doing. You learn what you value along the process, and it truly helps you shut off what is not important and helps you focus on exactly what is important. So the next time you ask yourself, where do I even start? Start with the goal in mind and start the process of doing, accumulating the lessons along the way.